thank you so much for joining me today, whether you're listening to the podcast or watching the YouTube videos. Stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm just going to hop right in. Whether you're listening to the podcast, the YouTube video, or you're watching the live, thank you for joining. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share. Today, I just want to talk to you guys about appreciating where you are, wherever you're at in your journey. Whether you are just in the beginning, whether you've been on this journey for 3 or 4 years, or even longer than that, it's really appreciating each and every step. And sometimes it may be hard to do that, but that goes into an abundant state of mind. Really appreciating and being grateful for what your body has endured, what it's given you. Your breathing, if you're able to walk, really just appreciating small things like that, because I think a lot of times we start out on this journey and we really do not like our bodies. And I was the same way. I really didn't feel like my body fit who I was. But I can't say that I, despised my body. I didn't like the way it looked, but I appreciated that it had given, birth to one child at the time when I had started, now 2. I appreciate, my stretch marks and my cellulite and all these things that can be easy to not appreciate and to despise about ourselves. And we really have to appreciate how far our bodies have come, whether you've gained weight and lost it again, or you've lost weight and you've really gained some back, or you gained all of it back, or whatever. You really need to get into that mindset of being grateful for what your body has done for you. If just even the small things, if you put it through a lot, like I put my body through so much, I went through so many diets. I think the problem with me was I didn't love myself, and therefore I looked at my body at one point as like this trap of I don't fit what my body looks like. I don't see myself on the inside as I was on the outside, and that really has to do with developing your mindset as well. And I'm gonna probably talk about this on every episode. So if you haven't focused on your mindset, I talked about this last week. You definitely have to do that, because that goes along with appreciating everything. I hear people really talk negative about their bodies. And I can't say that I haven't done it, or I have those moments where I still do it, but really rephrasing that. So I hear a lot of people say, I'm fat. And I don't really like the term fat. Maybe it's because it's got a bad connotation to it. But when somebody tells me I'm fat, I can't do X, Y, Z, I tell them, one, you as a person are not fat. Your body may have fat on it, extra fat on it. You may have weight to lose, but you as a person, your personality is not fat. You have worth. And in order to believe in that worth and believe in that greatness inside of you, you have to talk to yourself in a positive manner. You have to talk to your body. So if you have those moments where you say something very negative about your body, quickly rephrase it. Or when you find yourself doing that, say something positive about your body. So maybe in the past I would have said, I am fat. Oh my God, I have so much weight to lose. I can't do burpees. I can't do jumping jacks. I can't do this. I can't do that. Instead of saying that, I would rephrase it to, this body is amazing. I've carried 2 children, 2 healthy children. And rephrasing it like that gives it a positive context. And then in the future, you're going to just, like I've talked about it before, whether you're thinking positive or negative, it takes the same amount of energy. But positivity and negativity snowball. So when you're talking about yourself in a positive manner, even if you don't believe it at first, you're going to start believing it more and more, because you're going to say, you're going to rephrase. And when you do that within like a negative context, when it starts to snowball, you kind of just go into this like black hole of just hating everything about your body, and that goes into hating things about your personality. It can really feed into that anxiety and depression. And as hard as it is, sometimes we really have to go into that positivity and find it and source it. And like I said, even if you don't believe it, you will start to believe it after time. I have a client and a friend who I've been working with for about a year now. And I've really been trying to emphasize that when she has a negative thought, that she needs to put it into a positive thought. And just today she texted me and was like, I think I'm starting to automatically rephrase things into positive, positive affirmations, positive beliefs. And I was like, well, that's great. That's progress. Now we just have to get you to the point where you believe it. Because saying it and believing it can be two separate things, but saying it is a very good step. Staying positive, trying to rephrase things. And obviously you're going to have those moments where you have those moments of self-doubt where you say things like, I'm fat, but turning it around and rephrasing it or saying something positive afterwards is really going to help you build those positive triggers to where when you have those thoughts, you're automatically going to think of something positive. And that is truly key, because you can transform your mind and you can transform your body, but if you don't have the mindset, like I've said before, a lot of times you're going to slip back into old habits, and those old habits generally make you gain weight. So when you're having positive results, and I'm going to give you an example. For the longest time, so for probably the first year and a half of my 3-year journey thus far, of where I really started to commit to myself, I really stayed determined. I had these positive drivers, these fuels to light my fire. I didn't really focus on mindset too much. And that was a huge mistake on my part, because then I couldn't figure out why I was stalling for so long, and because you really, like, if your mind believes it, your body achieves it. And I really believe that's true. At least in my experience, it's been very true. And within, let's say, the last year and a half, or let's even say the last 6 months. So I have a 6-month-old. My entire pregnancy, I was determined to work out and stay active, really focus on nutrition, focus on fueling not only my body, but fueling my baby. And really giving her the best, healthiest version of myself, and then having my daughter, my 3-year-old, see that, and really setting that example from the very beginning. And so I did work out my whole pregnancy, every single day, whether it was yoga, whether it was walking, whether it was a structured workout, prenatal workouts, whatever. And I consulted my doctor. I did all the things that I needed to do. And thankfully, when it came time to, I was cleared by my doctor. I started out walking. I took it very slow. And that is super important if you're a postpartum mom. Do not believe the BS about bouncing back. And we're going to talk about this really soon with a guest of mine that I'm going to have on. And just take it at your own pace. I see so many new moms get so frustrated because they can't get back to where they were before. And you just had a baby. You just gave birth to a individual life, a tiny life. And it's so important to remember and appreciate your body, and remember that it took you 9 months to grow this human. And the weight is not automatically gonna fall off, and thus it shouldn't, especially if you're breastfeeding, and things like that. You need that extra fat for your body to be able to produce, and milk and provide the nutrients that your baby needs. So I think it's really important that when you have those moments, especially as a new mom, I had those moments. I started working out, so I started walking at 5 weeks postpartum. I was cleared by my doctor, but I knew that my body wasn't ready to jump right in and do burpees and things like that. My pelvic floor had just gone through all of this trauma, and we'll talk about that when Vanessa comes on. But I knew that my body wasn't completely ready to just go crazy. So what I did is I really started to focus on nutrition, and really focus on, pairing nutrition with a healthy mindset surrounding food. Because when I had my first daughter, when I was breastfeeding, I had that mindset of, oh, you can eat basically as much as you want because you're breastfeeding. And this time around, because I've been paying attention, I've been tracking, I know that that's not necessarily true for my body. For somebody else's body, it may be different, depends on your metabolism and all these different factors. But I've been able to still provide enough for the baby to eat, as much as I can. I should say I have low supply, so that's a whole other issue connected to my PCOS and my insulin resistance. But I knew my body wasn't ready. I knew that I really needed to focus on nutrition, so I started out with nutrition and mindset and made those really the core foundation of getting back. I don't want to say getting back because I hate that term, to improving myself after birth. And really focusing on a healthy return to fitness. And it really, really did help with, I did struggle with nutrition here and there. But once I started to really follow the principles of the 2B mindset and really focus on what was fueling my body and what, with tracking and things like that, and drinking enough water, I was really able to find my flow and find what worked out for me and what was flexible enough to fit my lifestyle. And so it's really, really about finding those small moments, those small victories, where you're making these small changes and really appreciating that you're so in tune with your body, or you're learning your body, you're learning what works for you, and using that to keep pressing on to have these non-scale victories. So back to my, when I was starting out, back to my journey, I had this determination. And I'm going to tell you something about motivation, which I've talked about before. Motivation ebbs and flows. It's not about motivation when it comes to your journey. It's about mindset, and it's about determination. Having that fuel and having things to keep you going each and every day. Whether that's waking up in the morning being excited about your routine, going to bed at night and being excited about your routine, being excited to work out, finding a program and a nutrition path that you're actually excited about, and you get to play with food and textures and flavors and things like that. And what I really want to emphasize is that it's all trial and error, and it doesn't happen overnight. And so appreciating these small non-scale victories and this positive mindset. So the more positive I've been, the more positive my results have been. I've just had this burst of positive energy, and it comes from all the accountability I have and all the support. And I have a group of wonderful ladies who keeps me, inspired, and when they're posting their progress pictures or posting things that they're doing in their journey, it gets me really, really excited to share with mine, and to just be fueled by this positive energy. And I've been seeing and noticing that I have all these non-scale victories. I'm fitting to a jean size that I've never fit into in my life, that I can remember. Seeing movement on the scale, seeing movement with my inches, connecting with ladies who I know I can help and who trust me with with being able to help them, and finding what works best for them in their journey. and sharing my journey, sharing this podcast, sharing the YouTube video, sharing the knowledge that I have, and just putting out all this positivity and getting it back in and getting the positive. It's just like a cycle. So like if you're positive all the time, you're going to have all these positive things happen, and it's not going to be all positive Patty all the time. We know that. Thus is life. We're not humans. We have emotions, and we have hormones and things like that. But just think about the opposite side of it. Like, you can use your energy for positivity, or you can use it for negativity, and they use the same amount of energy, but you get so much more from being positive. Whereas if you're negative, it's going to snowball, and it's going to make you spiral, and it's going to make you question things, and maybe it's going to make you stop, or quit completely and give up. Sorry. You don't want to give up on yourself. You want to stay positive. You want to talk to yourself positively, and you want to connect with yourself and your mind, in your body, on a level that is going to benefit your transformation and your results. It doesn't even have to be about weight loss. For me right now, it's about weight loss, but I know when it comes to maintenance mode, or in toning and things like that, like I just have so much belief that I have that potential in me, and I'm like excited about not only tomorrow, and not only this next week or the next few weeks or the next month or the next year. I'm excited for the rest of my journey, and that goes back to appreciating each and every step and appreciating what my body has been through. And especially when I look at side-by-side pictures, sometimes I have to, like, it takes me a minute. I'm like, oh my God, that was me. And I knew that I wasn't happy in my body, but at the same time, I always appreciated that even after being told that I would never have kids, or probably never have children, that it carried two healthy children. And it goes back to appreciating things like that. Those are big things, but it's just appreciating. I love my eyes. I love my legs. I love how my legs are able to let me run a mile, even if it's not consistent. And I have goals, and I love my mind because it's done XYZ. I love that I'm a good mom. Like, just talking to yourself in a positive context and really appreciating even the smallest things. And it doesn't even have to do with your journey. But what I've really noticed the last couple months, and things, when I'm having all these non-scale victories, is that when I'm having such positivity in my fitness journey, it's like pouring over into my life. I'm able to interact with my children and really like be creative with them, and really give them what they need and what type of mom they need, and showing them healthy habits, and baking with my 3-year-old, and playing with my baby that when my 3-year-old was her age, I didn't have the energy for. And being able to do all these things, and work on all these projects and connect with all these people is a huge positive thing for me, and I really appreciate and I'm grateful for it every day. And I really hope that you guys are able to do that, and just keep that positive energy vibing. I think if we had more positive energy, there wouldn't be a lot of the things going on. And I've talked about that comparison, like comparing your journey to somebody else's journey. Don't ever do it. Because you're just going to that negative spiral, and you want to uplift and empower other people, because when you put that positive energy out, and you put that empowerment out, it comes back to you. It may not come back right away, but it will definitely come back to you, and I'm living proof of that. So thank you so much for joining today. I really hope this was helpful for you. And if you're not catching this live, you're catching the podcast or the YouTube video, please do not forget to subscribe, comment, and share, and just keep the positive vibes rolling. And I really hope that this was helpful for you guys, and that you guys will stay positive and start to incorporate that in your journey. Thanks so much for tuning in. So much for tuning in today and sharing this time with me. Please stay tuned for future episodes, and check out my podcast.